आज यहाँ पर खास कार्यक्रम है और चिकित्सा जगत की जानी मानी हस्तियां, विशेषज्ञ आप सब यहाँ उपस्थित हुए हैं, जो आज के कार्यक्रम को और भी खास बना रही हैं। Welcome everyone. We are having a special program on inaugural NAMS public oration on law and medicine. And this occasion becomes even more special and important because we have the renowned people from medical fraternity, experts, and all our special guests. The eminent guests and the dignitaries are about to arrive. And please put your hands together. We have the special guest of the program today. Please put your hands together to welcome the special guest. It is a special occasion for us. We have with us Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice N.V. Ramanna, Shri Rajesh Bhushan, Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Professor Atul Goyal, DG Health Services. All our special guests will be present in this program today. And on behalf of National Academy of Medical Sciences, I welcome all of you to this special program, special evening. We'll be starting the proceedings of the program. May I request Dr. Shiv Kumar Sareen to accompany the dignitaries to the stage. Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice N.V. Ramanna. Please put your hands together to welcome the Chief Guest. Shri Rajesh Bhushan Ji, Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Please put your hands together to welcome the special guests. Guest of honor for today's program, Dr. Atul Goyal, DG Health Services. Today's program, this public oration, is being organized by National Academy of Medical Sciences. It is a premier academy of medical professionals in the country. NAMS is an organization of acclaimed physicians, academicians, researchers in medical sciences. और कहते हैं कि परिंदों को मंजिल मिलेगी, ये फैले हुए उनके पर बोलते हैं, अक्सर वो लोग कम बोलते हैं, ज़माने में जिनके हुनर बोलते हैं. The important initiative of National Academy of Medical Sciences include constituting 21 task forces, out of which 6 are actively working. It includes fellows of NAMS, are amongst the most distinguished medical professionals in the country. It has members from Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It has network of national professional organizations like Indian Academy of Pediatrics, Indian Association of Obstetrics and Gynecology, and many other reputed organizations in the country. It has initiated networking with principals of medical colleges in India, task force on organ donation and transplantation, and task force on venous thromboembolism had been constituted by National Academy of Medical Sciences. The task reports of these task forces will also be released in today's program. And it is said that doctors have a big responsibility of bringing smiles to the suffering humanity. But these days, the safety of doctors have also become a major concern. We have seen n number of cases where there have been unpleasant acts and the doctors have suffered a lot. Therefore, it becomes even more important to spread awareness about law and medicine. What are the rights of doctors and what are the rights of patients. So this is the main motive of today's public oration. We begin the proceedings, and may I request Dr. Shiv Kumar Sareen, who is the President of National Academy of Medical Sciences, to honor and welcome the dignitaries, to present the flowers to the dignitaries, please. Can we have the flowers on the Honorable Justice N.V. Ramanna. Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Shri Rajesh Bhushan ji. Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, Shri Rajesh Bhushan ji. And DG Health Services, who is the guest of honor for today's program, Professor Dr. Atul Goel. Thanks to all the special guests and dignitaries, we are privileged to have you here in the program, sir. NAMS celebrated its 62nd Foundation Day on 21st of April this year. On the prestigious occasion, Honorable Chief Health Minister Shri Mansukh Manvia acknowledged and appreciated the efforts of NAMS towards attaining national objective of optimum health to one and all. He congratulated the members of NAMS for their great contribution in promoting knowledge of medical sciences and encouragement of merit in all the branches of medical sciences. Under the leadership of Dr. Shiv Kumar Sareen, eminent members of this academy are working with the target of NAMS Vision 2030 for the rapidly changing scientific scenario and future challenges of communicable and non-communicable diseases. Dr. Shiv Kumar Sareen is admired amongst the medical fraternity for his great work and versatile personality. His contribution and service to humanity is exemplary. He is the person behind founding ILBS, Institute of Liver and Biliary Sciences, which is a world-class institute in treating liver diseases. His efforts in the medical field are commendable, and his commitment to the society is phenomenal. I would request Dr. Shiv Kumar Sareen, who is the President NAMS, to deliver the welcome address and share his vision with us. Dr. Sareen.
Good evening. On behalf of the NAMS Council and the family of fellows, members across India, it's a distinct privilege for me as one of the members and fellow to welcome the Honorable Chief Justice of India, Shri N.V. Ramanna. Please give a big round of applause. A simple man, a man who has fought for justice for everyone, freedom of speech, equality in professions, righteousness, in his own stellar, steel-like firmness. It's a privilege for us, sir, that you have come to a medical fraternity function. Your coming over itself is a tribute to the profession. Thank you, sir. It tells us, gives us confidence that there is certainly a point of convergence, and with your blessings, I'm sure doctors would feel much more happy, much more privileged. We have amidst us a perpetually smiling, welcoming, and very astute administrator, Shri Rajesh Bhushan ji. Sir had held both the policy makers, the doctors together for the benefit of the masses during COVID times. Sir, salutations. We also have a very, very mature, very ethical and very helpful Director General of Health Services, a clinician par excellence as Professor Atul Goyal as Director General Health Services. Sir, I will have few requests to you, if you permit me, Lord. So, my Lord, the first starts from William Osler, who says, medicine is a profession of uncertainties and unpredictabilities. However, if you have everything certain, your information is certain, your data is certain, your judgment would be certain. It's like law. It's a matter of judgment. However, people judge doctors as a certainty. All decisions, patient's outcome is in the hand of the realm of doctors. Sir, which is not. With that in mind, it sometimes happens that doctors and the medical profession is put to violence, face violence, and have issues of safety. I know, sir, you and the health ministry has made several laws, but I wish they had more teeth so that our fraternity, including me, will feel safe. So my first humble request is to have that in the wider horizon of a law and medicine, and your safety, your blessings for the medical profession may go a long way. My second request to you, sir, we have several Indian Administrative Service, Indian Foreign Service, many of these national services, but we don't have any Indian Medical Service or National Medical Service. And I am sure with Dr. Goyal and maybe our Honorable Health Secretary, the need for an Indian medical service, especially during emergency times, needs to be fulfilled. So, and I think there should be a way by which doctors are part of a regular organization. The third humble request is, if there are cases of negligence or if there are cases where doctors are involved, the amicus curiae in the courts should be a doctor, should not merely be an outsider. It is a reason behind it, because to understand when I am doing a procedure, believe me, and you have to put in a hole and take a biopsy, your coronaries are shrunk like this. It is worse than launching a Sputnik. 1 millisecond mistake and you are this side or that. And the error of judgment versus negligence I'm sure you will differentiate it, sir, but error of judgment is not negligence. So I would request that this point may in your fellow judges must somewhere be reflected. I'll come to the NAMS and the public oration. We have tried through you, sir, to initiate a public oration. And just when I mentioned the Honorable our Secretary Health and also the Director General, they were very happy. They first wouldn't believe that CGI has agreed to come. And since you are coming, I must say the Secretary Health was here at 5:40 or so, just to say that. So please give a big round of applause. It shows the power of Supreme Court of India. It shows the power of Supreme Court of India. That power should remain. The people of India feel so happy that there is a judiciary led by you which will protect their rights. And so would doctors would feel happy if their rights, if their eminence, if their judgment is respected. So my humble requests are these. Coming to the NAMS, sir, I would like to thank the Director General Health Services who has helped us develop task forces. So we were guided by him. We have 21 task forces as announced by Kiran on various priority issues. And the priority issues like tuberculosis, leprosy, or maybe cancer. So NAMS has developed through its 1,000 fellows task forces, which are becoming somewhat like national policy initiatives. We are learning. And Director General had kindly given 2 names for each of these. So now they are somewhat part of our national policies. And the Secretary Health had blessed us that yes, you grow, give us the technical guidance. So NAMS is indebted, sir, to you and to the DGHS for these guidances. Sir, NAMS, I tell you, when I came, I was privileged to work in this, and I have Professor Dave with us today, who was the past president of NAMS. It's a privilege to have worked in this initiative. There is wealth of medical talent which is available, which can be used, and which can become initiative for this. I would like to thank each one of you for having come here. We would like to assure you that we would be there if you people give us the guidance. The public lecture is an open invitation to public to guide us. What do people want from doctors? What do people in public think of them? Do we not regulate ourselves? Do we not make our own life more ethical? I sometimes ago, sir, coined a term which you might find new. It's not in the dictionary, called bethicalism. Bethicalism is a term, B-E, ethicalism. Every religion, let it be Jainism, Judaism, Hinduism, core is ahimsa, core is treat others as you treat yourself, like to be treated. Bethicalism, be ethical. And be ethical, I think, is same as in law. What is law? It is actually, in my limited knowledge, is like giving you the righteous judgment. So whether it was Buddha, whether it was Mahavira, whether any of those people, I think being ethical, and I would request all of us, including me, to be ethical so our professions can stand up against any scrutiny. And with these, I would like to thank you one more time, our distinguished Chief Justice of India, despite immense pressure of time, to have come to the Doctors' Medical Professions meeting. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sareen. It is very truly said that medicines treat diseases, but the doctors are the only ones who can treat and cure patients. So, our guest of honor for today's program, he has been working as Director Professor Medicine in Department of Lady Hardinge Medical College. He believes that a healthy body requires a healthy mind, which requires spirituality, positive thinking. A healthy mind is fundamental for the immunity, for prevention, and response to the disease treatment. He says that every individual needs to play an active and important role for staying healthy and can contribute to the development of the country. May I request the guest of honor, Professor Dr. Atul Goel, to enrich us with his wisdom words. Dr. Goel, please.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Justice of India, Health Secretary, Dr. Sareen, my other colleagues from NAMS and Directorate General of Health Services, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, I was asked for some biodata, which I did not give. I said I live in present, I am the Director General, that's it. So they took the excerpts of what is written on the Directorate General of Health Services website, and that's been stated here. Now, before I go further, it's actually a privilege to address this literal August gathering. We talk of August gathering, but this is actually an August gathering by the month, August 2022. Dr. Sareen talked of the power of Supreme Court. I would rather have a respect for Supreme Court rather than an absolute power. Well, medical profession, like all other professions, is guided by a code of ethics, which has been mentioned by Dr. Sareen. However, this code is more in focus in medicine than any other field, including law. The reason perhaps being the angle of selfless service attached to the field of medicine. We often describe this as altruism. But I have strong reasons to believe that the word altruism should not be considered for medicine alone. It should be considered for all other professions and everywhere in life, including simple administration, within small departments, within institutions. Historically, there have been two ways of regulating medical practice. One way is that comes from self-regulation, that is within, which is based by the code of ethics or guided by the code of ethics. Second has been an external regulation by law. There may be proponents on both sides, but personally I find self-regulation to be much less painful than being regulated externally by law, which is happening nowadays. Even though I may currently be placed at the highest point of administration in health cadre, in my heart I remain a simple practitioner of medicine, and health will speak for it. No qualified doctor ever willfully harms his or her patient in any way. But for reasons not entirely clear to me, doctors have been soft targets. Despite court judgments which have time and again ruled out that FIRs or police cases cannot be lodged without actual medical negligence being proven. Third estate hasn't helped either, with headlines like so-and-so killed by a doctor. This is time and again, it screams on televisions, it's on papers, which is not really correct. Well, suicide by a gynecologist in Rajasthan was recently a case in point that needs to be seriously looked into. The fact of the matter is that expectations of doctors from doctors, as Dr. Sareen mentioned, need to be realistic. A doctor may not be able to cure or save everyone he or she treats. In fact, there is an age-old saying which says, I treat, he cures. Notwithstanding this saying, neither are all diseases curable, nor is any human being immortal. This needs to be understood and accepted by the society. This will serve two important purposes. One, it will reduce pressure on law and judiciary as regards medical negligence. There are so many cases of medical negligence which come to judiciary today. Secondly, and more importantly, it will reduce the pressure on practitioners of medicine, which will improve the quality of medical care. Today, decisions are sometimes taken because of fear of law rather than the correctness of the decision itself. That will be benefited. Second small thing I would like to mention in front of Honorable Chief Justice is the relationship between education and law. I will stick to only medical education because that's what I deal with. The instances of people going to courts against conducts and or results of examination, both entrance examination and university examinations, is increasing day after day. There is a need to seriously think about it because it derails the entire process and many more processes related to it which affect the career of individuals, a large number of individuals. Well, on a lighter note, I would like to say that weight of a case and weight of the lawyer may not match at times. And that fact should be given due consideration while accepting these cases. I would end here because I'm keen to listen to words of wisdom from Mr. Rajesh Bhushan, which I am actually really fond of hearing. And also, of course, the man of the moment, Honorable Chief Justice N.V. Ramanaji. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And presiding over the program, today we have Shri Rajesh Bhushan ji. He joined Indian Administrative Service in the year 1987. He has worked as officer on special duty in Ministry of Health and Family Welfare for 3 months, prior to which he was secretary in the Ministry of Rural Development and in Cabinet Secretariat. In his more than 3 decades of public service, both in state government and union government, he has served as an administrator, a policymaker, having held a wide range of assignments in the field of information, education, transport, rural development and health. During his 2.5 years of Cabinet Secretariat, he gained valuable exposure in assisting the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, the Cabinet Committee on Security, and the main Cabinet. Presently, he is working as the Health Secretary for Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Sir, may I please request you to spread the pearls of wisdom and guide us through your experiences.
The chief guest of today's inaugural NAMS public oration, Honorable Chief Justice of India, Shri Justice N.V. Ramana ji, Director General Health Services, President National Academy of Medical Sciences, Secretary National Academy of Medical Sciences, very eminent and distinguished colleagues who are here, ladies and gentlemen. I am not here to deliver a lecture. I am more in the capacity of the hosts welcoming Honorable Chief Justice Ramana to this public oration. But I would like to share with you certain peculiarities which are there in the overall health sector in India, which do lead to certain challenges, which have ethical implications, which have legal implications, which have administrative implications. As we all know that in the Constitution of India, health is a state subject, but over a period of time, ours is a big country, a large country, 137 crore people, and a large number of states, union territories, different in their terrain, different in their socio-economic development. So what we have witnessed over the past few decades is a inequity in development. And when we say inequity in development, it reflects in the development of healthcare infrastructure also. There are certain regions, particularly north of the Vindhyas, where there has been a historical deficit of healthcare infrastructure. And this has led to the union government initiating multiple programs which are popularly called centrally sponsored schemes in the domain of healthcare and healthcare delivery, although it still remains a subject which is to be dealt with by the states. So that has its own challenges in terms of uneven implementation, in terms of conflicts that often arise, and the challenge is to resolve those conflicts in a amicable, harmonious manner. So that is one overlying thematic strand that we must keep in mind. The second important thing that I'd like to draw the attention of all the eminent colleagues who have gathered here is the exponential increase in the healthcare delivery system that we have seen in the past decades. Today we have about 13 lakh doctors, mainstream allopathic doctors, registered on the rolls of different state medical councils in the country. We have around 8 lakh Ayush practitioners. We have 600 medical colleges, out of which 350 are owned and operated by either state governments or union governments. We are one of the largest, in fact the second largest after China, generic manufacturers of medicine in the world. Every other child in the world is inoculated using a vaccine manufactured in our country. So this exponential growth of pharmaceutical sector, of healthcare professionals have also created challenges of how the profession would be practiced, how the profession would be regulated, how ethical values within the profession, because we are talking of 13 lakh people and we are not even counting paramedicals. So how those ethical values would be transacted while providing patient care. We should also see when I say uneven development of health infrastructure. There are huge challenges of deficiencies in infrastructure or health systems. At times, the line between negligence and systemic deficiencies is very thin. So how do we distinguish that both administratively and legally? That's another challenge. Of late, the emergence of new technologies. If we look at last two sessions of Parliament, the Parliament passed Assisted Reproductive Technologies Act. The Parliament also passed a couple of other allied health services regulation act. So these are areas which are emerging where boundaries are not clearly drawn between what is a standard template of care and what is an emerging technology, and how would that emerging technology be actually delivered as treatment. So these were some of the things that I wanted to draw your attention to, because the lecture that Honorable Chief Justice is going to deliver is something which would not only touch upon these various aspects, but would also trigger a productive and mutually fruitful debate within the professional community as well as the health service providers, and that I think is eventually good not only for the profession but also for the country. I take this opportunity to once again welcome the Honorable Chief Justice of India with folded hands, and we hope that his presence here and his insights would immensely benefit us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And as I earlier mentioned that the great initiatives of National Academy of Medical Sciences, the latest one are the Task Force on Organ Donation and Transplantation. Organ transplant is the best treatment for end-stage organ failure in diseases like liver cirrhosis, cardiac failure, and chronic kidney diseases, with an increase in non-communicable diseases and alcoholism. The consumption of alcohol in the country is at rise. The need for transplants in individuals who get these end-stage organ failures are increasing. In our country, there is a need for approximately 175,000 kidneys and 50,000 liver, heart, and lung transplants. Most of these transplants in our country happen in the private hospitals, which become unaffordable for most people. Today, we will be having the release of the task reports, and the other initiative that we are going to talk about is the Task Force report on venous thromboembolism, which is a clotting in the blood vessels. It is a medical condition that affects many people, especially those at risk, like the people who are bedbound, older patients, older people who are obese, prolonged immobility, physical inactivity, and genetic blood conditions are among the main causes. Here, there is perceived gap in the appropriate management and prevention of VTE across the country. In the view of aging population of India, it becomes important that we pay attention to the management and prevention of venous thromboembolism. The chairperson for the task force is Lieutenant General Velu Nair, and the chairperson for the Task Force on Organ Donation and Transplantation is Professor Y.K. Chawla. I would now request for the release of these two task force reports. Can we have the reports, please, on the stage? And I request the distinguished guests to release the task force report on organ donation and transplantation and the task force report on venous thromboembolism. Put your hands together, please. A huge round of applause for the people who have been associated and worked hard for this task force report. Both these initiatives have been wholeheartedly supported and encouraged by Professor S.K. Sareen, President of NAMS, and Professor Umesh Kapil, Secretary, National Academy of Medical Sciences. Please put your hands together for this successful result of the task force reports. And as it is said, it is a proud moment for all those who have worked in this initiative and those who have supported this initiative wholeheartedly. और कहते हैं कि मेहनत जब सफलता में बदलती है तब हजारों ख्वाहिशें उड़ान भरती है. It is always important to award and reward the people who have undergone any success and who have made their act successful, because it is an inspiration and motivation for all others to work for these successful events. So for felicitation, may I request Dr. Lieutenant General Velu Nair. He is a hematologist, former Director General, Medical Services, Indian Army, Medical Corps, Venous Thromboembolism. He is the chairperson for this task force. May I request him to come on the stage, please? And I would request the eminent experts guests to felicitate Lieutenant General Dr. Velu Nair. For the next felicitation, may I request Dr. Yogesh Chawla to come on the stage. He is former Director, PGI MER Chandigarh. And he is the chairperson for organ donation and transplantation. Please put your hands together. For the next felicitation of the Oration, Dr. R.V. Ranjan Oration, I would request Dr. Ashish Banerjee to come on the stage. Please give a huge round of applause for Dr. Ashish Banerjee. The next felicitation for Achanta Lakshmipati Oration, Dr. Krishnamurti Jaina. Please come on the stage. The next felicitation for Colonel Sangam Lal Memorial Oration, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Gupta, FAMS. I would request you to come on the stage, please. Please put your hands together for Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Gupta. It is a great proud moment because these people have worked a lot and succeeded in their task. The next felicitation for Dr. V.R. Khanolkar Oration, Dr. Amit Rawat. For the next oration, felicitation for Dr. Prannath Chutani Oration, I would request Dr. Pragya Dhruv Yadav to come on the stage. I would request Dr. Divya Vohra to come on the stage for Dr. B.K. Anand Oration. Please put your hands together for them. And for Dr. B.K. Anand Oration, we have Dr. Mahendra Kumar Thakur, FAMS. Please come on the stage, sir. And for the oration, Dr. Baldev Singh Oration, the felicitation for Dr. Pradeep Sharma, FAMS. Please come on the stage, sir. Please put your hands together for all those who are getting felicitated. It's a great proud moment for all those who work for their motives and get succeeded. Thank you, sir. Please be seated. And as we have the Chief Justice of India, Justice N.V. Ramanna with us, I would request him to enlighten us with his words. Previously, he was a judge of Supreme Court of India, Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, and Acting Chief Justice of Andhra Pradesh High Court. He has been a president of Andhra Pradesh Judicial Academy. From 1979 to the year 1980, Justice Ramanna was a journalist for the Inadu newspaper. He enrolled as an advocate on January 10, 1983. He practiced in High Court of Andhra Pradesh, Central and Andhra Pradesh Administrative Tribunals, and Service and Election matters. He also handled a number of constitutional matters, including federal river disputes in the country. He has handled civil, criminal, labor, service and election matters. Administrative Tribunal at Hyderabad, he has worked for that. And he has also functioned as the Additional Advocate General of the state of Andhra Pradesh. Justice Ramanna was appointed the 48th Chief Justice by President Ram Nath Kovind on 6th April 2021. Sir, please, I request you to come and enlighten us with your valuable words.
Dr. Sivasaran, President, National Academy of Medical Sciences, Sri Rajesh Bhushan, Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Professor Atul Goyal, Director General of Health Service, Dr. Umesh Kapali, Secretary, National Academy of Medical Sciences, respected doctors and professionals, media persons, other distinguished guests, and awardees of eminent doctors who are given Oration Award, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me apologize for late coming. I'm sorry I kept waiting. The reason is one of my sister judge house, there is a prayer meeting. That's the reason why there is a delay. I'm very sorry for that. And first I want to pay tributes the people, the doctors, medical professions, paramedical staff who sacrificed their lives in this COVID pandemic. I pay my tributes. Now, in the beginning, when I entered into the premises of this NAMS, I remember a number of times I visited and met Dr. J.S. Bajaj. He is to be my doctor. He is to, not only doctor, I had a lot of bondage with him because getting appointment with him those days is difficult. He used to see very few patients. And he used to give, I think, every 2 months once, that too with great difficulty. He used to spend almost 2 hours, 3 hours when I meet him about my disease, about my medication, and he is only 15-20 minutes. Rest of the time is about discussing a whole lot of issues across the world, starting from astrology, history, politics, whatnot, and memories and jokes, a lot of other things. So I used to enjoy that meetings. So I remembered him. That's what I am asking Dr. Sarin when I came. This is the same place where I used to meet J.S. Bajaj. He is one of the finest and great human beings, apart from doctor. In the beginning, Dr. Saran Saab will mention the Honorable Health Secretary came at 5:40, waited, and that is the power of the Supreme Court. I can say it's not the power of the Supreme Court. I say it is the respect the institution health, and it is the confidence and faith which the institution has earned more than power. So I am very happy in this evening to stand before all of you to share some of the issues which Dr. Sharan Saab is always to talk and discuss. In fact, I am hard pressed with time. And to say truth, on the way while coming to the residence to the car, I started correcting my speech, which I have dictated. Some mistakes might have taken place. Excuse me for that. But I did my best to put some thoughts. It's a pleasure and privilege to be here in the presence of such distinguished medical professionals. Perhaps we are in the only profession which follows Gandhiji's principle, that is, service to man is service to God. The practice of medicine is the bridge between science and technology and human mind and body. Doctors express this scientific understanding day in and day out through their medical practice. There are very few professions that exist in a constant state of flux in the way the medical profession does. In fact, the medical profession is most reflective of technology and the scientific developments. It is sensitive to every advancement in technology and is constantly striving to improve and the care and service it offers. The significance of health of our people is reflected in the emphasis that makers of our Constitution have given to the subject. Our courts also have played significant role in realizing these goals and shaping the healthcare policies of our country. The directive principles have placed emphasis on the minutest details of health, nutrition, working conditions, and welfare. In addition to the directive principles, the Constitution in the 11th and 12th schedules places an obligation to provide safe drinking water, sanitization, and adequate health care upon the local bodies. Since there was no explicit mention of right to health under the fundamental rights, the Supreme Court in the case Bandhuva Mukti Morchi interpreted Article 21 to include right to health. In case of Paschimi Banga Khet Mazdoor Samiti, the Supreme Court held that failure on the part of a government hospital to provide timely medical treatment to a person in need of such treatment results in violation of his right to life guaranteed under Article 21. In essence, I would say medicine and law are similar. We must keep ourselves abreast of the latest developments in our fields to be able to provide the best possible health care or legal representation. A good lawyer, like a good doctor, must always work earnestly towards imbibing and accumulating greater knowledge. The possibilities of growth in both fields are seeming endless. Both medicine and law are one of the oldest professions in the world. They arise from basic necessities of a dignified human being existence. People place their faith in lawyers and doctors alike, trusting that they will act in the best interests of those who approach them. The doctors do so much more than simply intervene at a stage where a patient's life is at risk. They play an active role in prevention of disease, in spreading awareness of best health practices, and are instrumental in improving quality of life in countless ways. In contemporary times, the doctors play multiple roles. They are healthcare providers, caregivers, educators, managers, policymakers, etc. Our recent experience with COVID taught us the significance of robust healthcare for all. We have all learned how a health emergency can cripple the entire nation. Health infrastructure and policy cannot be planned only when an emergency arises. It requires careful planning and involves meticulous thought process to manage resources in an efficient and effective manner. Being the primary stakeholders in the healthcare system, doctors are extremely important in framing the roadmap to healthcare in India. The medical expertise, interaction with the patients from varied groups, and the status in the society provides you with a unique position and power to influence the society. Your relationship with your patients provides you with an opportunity to develop a deeper and wider perspective on social issues. Your clinical excellence, professional integrity bestows you with the faith of the public. Admittedly, your profession is a service for humanity, but we also need doctors to assume larger public roles and allow grievances within the system to be aired. As a primary health givers, doctors can play transformational roles in enhancing social well-being. There is a glaring lack of medical practitioners in leadership roles. The need of the hour is to bring back the medical leadership, at least in shaping healthcare policies and strategies. It is a responsibility that must be borne with utmost seriousness. Considering the nature of your service, the doctors are not only individually responsible to the patients only, they also owe a duty to the society. One trend that needs discussion is the growing and unchecked commercialization of our health system. Private hospitals are being opened at a very high rate. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but there is a glaring need for balance. We are seeing hospitals being run like companies, where profit making is more important than service to society. Due to this, hospitals and doctors alike are desensitized towards the flight of patients. They are just numbers for them. This trend has also spread monopoly and is deepening the inequities in access to healthcare. I understand that there are many doctors on the boards of various private hospitals having the responsibility to balance corporate interests and the medical interests. Now, with the increasing intervention of corporate boards, the individual autonomy of a doctor is getting eroded. Today, the discourse regarding hospitals and doctors is quite disheartening. I have noticed a growing distrust in the common citizen, hefty fees, chaotic experiences, and sub-para service has marred the relationship between the doctors and the general public, especially in a country like India, where there is immense disparity in access to health care. Doctors are accountable to the public. Exorbitant medical fees coupled with excessive barriers has made it almost impossible for the poor to get a decent health care. It is primarily the cost of health care that is forcing people to suppress their health care needs and well-being. The heartbreaking fact is that the crucial preventing stage is often lost when people suppress their medical health needs. They only approach the doctors when it is unmanageable and has crossed a certain threshold. Another side of lack of accessible health care is giving space to quacks. Quackery begins where awareness ends. Where there is room for myths, there is a room for quackery. Quackery is the biggest disease affecting India. Owing to the financial and time constraints, a huge majority of Indian population approaches these untrained and uncertified doctors. Lack of awareness and knowledge, misplaced belief, and sheer inaccessibility has massive ramification on the health of the country, particularly the rural and underprivileged in India. Need of the hour is to bring in a legislation to save people from falling prey to fraudulent practices in the name of treatment. Medical awareness is extremely significant for our society, which is filled with inherent notions and superstitions. Disease prevention and management is even more crucial for the marginalized classes, and lack of good health care will only add to the social and economic stress. Therefore, we need doctors to focus on well-being of the masses that keeps the wheel of our society and economy moving. We need more and more young practitioners to work for universal health coverage and reduce disparity in health care. Undoubtedly, the duty of care is inherent in the medical profession. From the ancient Roman and English laws to the present times, law places clear consequences for willful disregard of one's own duty. It is a phenomenon which has implications from diagnosis to treatment and rehabilitation. Even the smallest error by a physician can have a profound impact on the patient's life. Therefore, it is the doctor's responsibility to use due caution and prevent such events. The existence of a doctor-patient relationship is a prerequisite to impose culpability on the doctor. Since the patient typically has only a limited understanding of the illness and the process of treatment, the medical professional has a larger duty to the patient in fiduciary relationship. Treatment of an individual involves various stakeholders. They have to traverse through doctors, private hospitals, and insurance companies. Through this process, the patient blindly trusts only the doctors. It is doctors' presence and involvement that gives the assurance to patients that have not just consumers. In the landmark decision of Jacob Matthew versus State of Punjab, the Supreme Court of India laid down guidelines in cases of alleged negligence against medical practitioners in India. It is clearly stated that there is a need for protecting doctors from frivolous and or unjust prosecution. Over a period of time, this court has clearly stated that an error of judgment or an accident is not a proof of negligence on the part of a medical professional. He or she would be liable only where this conduct fell below that of the standard of a reasonably competent practitioner in the field. However, these issues need to be adjudicated as per peculiar facts of each case. Doctors ought not to be penalized if best intentions were on display and best efforts were made irrespective of the results. After all, doctors are humans too. I can narrate one incident where one gynecologist once she mentioned to me, the patients are so innocent and the common people believe that doctors are angels and they don't get even diseases. Some patient asked her, "Madam, doctor, you also get diseases. This is the knowledge, this is the standard of people's understanding about the system." So they think doctors are supreme and they don't get diseases also. Now I must come to a topic that I feel strongly about. During the pandemic, I saw various instances where doctors have been threatened, abused, attacked, and shunned. Despite this, they continued working on the front lines. This negative response towards doctors is truly unfortunate. Several false cases are being lodged against upright and hardworking doctors. They need a better and more secure working environment. We must foster an environment where more young people want to become doctors to serve Indian society. This attitude toward doctor is pushing out our best talents abroad. A massive brain drain is taking place where young, talented, and hardworking doctors do not see a future in India. We as a society must change this and incentivize our doctors to stay in India and continue their service and help meet both our medical and social goals. The central and state governments to have a serious responsibility. Many aspiring doctors from small towns and rural areas rely on government for education, support, and employment. But beyond this initial support, the government must look out for their welfare of its doctor and improve their working conditions. The government must think of stronger incentives to make doctors accessible to rural population. And even though I want to discuss about the medical education and the organ donation legislations, now after 27th, after my retirement only, I can discuss those issues. NAMS has nearly 1,000 top medical professions, fellows and about 10,000 members led by Dr. Sareen. What a wealth of wisdom. National health and medical education and disease prevention policies should be guided by NAMS. I implore all senior members of NAMS and other organizations to help and guide the upcoming generation of doctors. I would like to conclude on a note of appreciation for all of you here and those engaged in medical profession. Your selflessness and resilience were brought to the fore during the pandemic, and medicine's ability to preserve in the face of adversity was proven yet again. I would like to thank you all for your services. I thank Dr. Shiv Saran and other office bearers of NAMS for inviting me to this event and honoring me with the opportunity to deliver the inaugural public opinion. Dr. Sarin, a recipient of Santi Swarup Bhatnagar Award and Padma Bhushan, is a pioneer in the field of medical science and innovation in a career spanning over 3 decades. He has contributed internationally in the field of liver diseases. He is a thorough academician and keen researcher. He is also known for his social endeavors. He is an institution builder. I feel that his services are underutilized. Hope the governments across the country will draw benefit from his wealth of knowledge. I hope after my retirement we can share something and we can work together in some issues. Sri Rajesh Bhushan, the Health Secretary Health, heading the bureaucracy of the Health Ministry. It is one of the most challenging ministries. He and his team have worked very hard along with professionals to deal with medical emergency that arose during COVID time. I hope he has maintained scientific regard in the way the COVID-19 is being dealt with. In times to come, this record will help us formulate our long-term and short-term health policies. And I thank Atul Groyer expressing frankly his opinions. I would like to end this oration with the words of Greek philosopher Hippocrates, the father of medicines, and I quote, "Wherever the art of medicine is loved, there is also a love of humanity." Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Sir, thank you so much. We are privileged to have you here, your valuable presence in today's program. It means a lot to us. कहते हैं खोल दो पंख मेरे अभी और उड़ान बाकी है, जमीन ही नहीं है मंजिल मेरी अभी पूरा आसमान बाकी है. This is very apt to the National Academy of Medical Sciences, which has been continuously working for the promotion and awareness in the field of medical sciences. It is a trendsetter and is like a shining sun that is radiating light of awareness towards masses and radiating energy of encouragement to all those who want to work for medical sciences. May I now please request for the vote of thanks to Dr. Umesh Kapil, Secretary, National Academy of Medical Sciences, eminent expert, Human Nutrition, All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Doctor.
Good evening to all of you. My pranam. Sir, Honorable Chief Justice Shri Ramanna ji, please accept most sincere thanks of National Academy of Medical Sciences. We were enlightened with your thought process, and we would like to have our association with NAMS would like to have our association with you for a long, long time. We are most grateful to our Health Secretary Shri Rajesh Bhushan ji, who has very kindly agreed to be presiding over this function. And sir, your word of wisdom we'll always remember. NAMS needs your guidance, blessings, support, everything. Our sincere thanks to Dr. Atul Goyal. I requested him to send his profile. He just wrote, "I am the DGHS. Pass is gone." That's the biggest or the longest CV I have ever received in my life from any eminent invitees. Our most sincere thanks to about 500 offline, online participants who have joined us.
And our most sincere thanks to all of you who has come over here. My most sincere respect to Dr. Dave, Lieutenant Nair, all the members over here who have very kindly, Dr. Inagural sir, who even because of this, a commitment to the National Academy of Medical Sciences, which makes their presence over here. In the end, I would again like to thank all the dignitaries for their support, guidance, blessings, and please continue to be with us. It will be always a great pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And now we would, before we conclude today's session, I would request all of you to stand for the National Anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, everyone. And after this program, Dr. Velu Nair and Dr. Chawla will brief the media about their task reports.